For cheap gold, items and other boosts for Diablo 4, visit aoeah.com. Check out the link in the description, you get 3% off with the code ARIAT. Hello and welcome everybody. In this video I have a handful of Diablo 4 tips and tricks for you, which you might not know yet. As always, we'll right get into it. During Helltide, party members can help you to loot the screaming hell veins multiple times to get out more forgotten souls. If you have just opened a hell vein and another player who has not been in the same layer before joins you, this player will still see the vein as being unopened. When he opens it, both players get a drop, so the first player already has got 2 drops. Now of course you could add a third and a fourth party member to the group, with the first player getting the most loot and the last one only has 1 drop. Incidentally, this principle can also be applied to roses, crates and much more objects that give a drop. For a while it even worked on Helltide chests, but this was fixed. So if you need to get as many forgotten souls as possible from a Helltide, you can get help from your friends. If you are already playing together in a group, you should not go together, otherwise you will be in the same layer and the method will not work. But it's okay when one player farms in the upper part of the Helltide and the other one in the lower one. It also works when one player stays in the city and only joins to the Helltide veins. Next, there is one thing several players seem not to see. At the end of a dungeon, you have 3 options. You can teleport to town by pressing the corresponding button. You can open the action menu and leave the dungeon, to end up in the outside world in front of the dungeon entrance. But only few players use the third option. You can also open the map and then press button 2, directly above the W, and then travel to any waypoint on the outworld map. Alternatively, you can also click at the bottom left to switch the map between dungeon and outside world, where you also see the reference to button 2. So if you want to go directly to the tree after completing a dungeon, you can save a loading screen. The Whispering Tree is generally a very good place if you want to clear your inventory between runs quickly. There is a merchant to sell, a blacksmith to recycle, an occultist who can extract aspects or provide new sigils, and your personal chest is there too, so you can store any treasures you find. The nice thing here is that everything is very close to the waypoint, so it's very practical for smaller crafting jobs, like rolling or upgrading items and imprinting aspects. All no problem. Only a jeweler is missing here. So if you need to have a jeweler nearby, I recommend Serigar, where you have everything centrally located and also quite close together. The stash is even right at the waypoint. For some needs, however, Cat Bardu is also a very nice place. There you have the shortest distance between stash and blacksmith. You don't even have to move at all, you can reach both from the same spot. There's also a merchant right next to, so if you're one of those players who put all their loot into stash and just look later when it's full, this spot is the best. Here you can sell or salvage all the stuff you don't need. Next, there are a few chat functions that can be very helpful. For example, you can invite another player directly into your group simply by pressing enter to open the chat and right-clicking on their name or message. There are also other options such as add friend or invite to the clan. This works in the clan chat, in the trade chat and also in the local chat. Sometimes, however, not all actions are available, depending on the network settings and the platform. Some of you may remember the chat command from Diablo 2, /w space and then the character name. This also works here, and there is even an auto search function, so you can write personal messages to players you meet in the world. You can also search for local players next to the friend list, but sometimes you don't see all the players who are actually in your area. Another thing only few people have in mind, there are some affixes on items that can only be rolled by certain classes. Non-class affixes are not worthwhile in the most cases. After all, you can't use skills or resources that belong to another class. However, there are exceptions, such as the affix attack speed after dodging. This can only be rolled by rogues and only on gloves and amulets. But in principle, this mod can be also useful on other classes. Everyone who is familiar with my barb builds has already seen it. I can't think of any other examples of useful non-class affixes right now, but there's always something new coming up, and as a tinkerer it's always good to have such things in mind. I say goodbye, take care, and may the loot be with you.
Follow me. Thanks. Goodbye.